Welcome back to the 3 Point Show. It's your boy Mike 3P, and today we are getting into the football over the weekend in the Premier League. Before we get into it, do make sure you like and subscribe. The people that have already subscribed, welcome back. But don't forget, like and subscribe and share this to your friends, your brethren, your nan, your granddad, get me, your uncle, your auntie, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your brethren, get me. But anyway, let's get into this. I'll start with the first game of the weekend, which was Everton versus Liverpool, which was, to me, one of the best games of the weekend. Very eventful. The game ended in 2-2, but the first two things I want to talk about is Mo Salah and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, Mo Salah got 100 goals. He got his 100 goals. In 159 games, add that with 41 assists as well. It really does make you think like Mo Salah is just that guy. I mean, look, I have my reservations about him, especially when he's not scoring, but you can't deny numbers, man. This guy is just different gravy when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net, especially when you see his goal. It was why Heady One really did say excellent finish for Mo Salah, because no backlift, just bang, bottom corner. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, what a player this season. I don't know what him and James Rodriguez have been doing, but they have been on some different stuff. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has played 5 games in the league already and got 7 goals. Last season he played 36 and got 13. Look, don't put it past you, him being the top goal scorer in the Premier League this season, because the way he's playing, the way he's on form, and the way the team is not, I wouldn't say built around it, but you got creators in midfield. You got James Rodriguez, who's one of the best playmakers in the last 10 years, whatever, 5-10 years. You got Richarlison, who's really tricky. Well, whenever he can stay on the pitch. He's really, really tricky, puts the ball into the box. You've got Gylfi Sigurdsson, although I don't think he played last night. Although he didn't play, he's also one that can put the ball into the box. You've got Doucouré, who's energetic and gets around. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he might lead the league in goals. I'll be honest with you, he's different. He is different gravy right now. I just hope this form continues. Obviously not against Arsenal, but hopefully this form continues and he gets onto bigger and better things. But just on a quick side note, Harry Kane, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Danny Ings, all of England's strikers are absolutely firing on all cylinders. It's going to be a selection headache. I know who's obviously the guaranteed pick right now, but you're looking at the Van Dijk injury, where Pickford, I'm not even going to say too much about Pickford because everyone knows my views on him. I don't want to make it seem like I hate the guy or whatever. But he absolutely took out Van Dijk. The fact that he doesn't even get a yellow, it was after the play, but the fact that he doesn't get anything, it just shows you something is a bit funny here, because you're looking at someone that allegedly done his ACL, yeah? You've taken him out and there's no action for it. I mean, shout out to Pickford. I mean, he's probably an Evertonian hero now, you know what I mean? I think the league is blown wide open ever since Van Dijk's injury. And that's mainly due to what's his name? Pickford. It absolutely clears him out. Now, I don't know, do you not think that he should have got a yellow for that or red? Because, it's after the play. It was unintentional. But I just feel like it was just a calamity. Anytime I spoke about it before, but him just in the box, he just looks like a fish riding a bike. He just gets out and does whatever he wants, and he absolutely cleared him out. Then you look at Henderson, thought he had a winner in the derby, thought he'd done it, but it wasn't to be. Level, as they said on Match of the Day, level, the whole old golden rule was level was on. That's gone now. If you're not pretty much behind the play, then forget it. I talk about Chelsea versus Southampton. The lineup was, I would say, predictable. I think Chelsea pretty much have one lineup this time, but they changed Jorginho for Kovacic, or they probably insert another centre back or another, in which I don't understand what Fikayo Tomori has to do to get a game. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying he's Cannavaro or whatever, but you're looking at some of the mistakes that some of these Christensen makes on a weekly basis, and you think, how comes he doesn't come out of the side? Zuma as well. People look. Kepa bottled out for his chat for the goal. I believe Che Adams scored. He bottled out, but let's be honest now. Zuma, that was absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. Now, okay, so let's get into this. Werner scored, well, I think probably the best goal, well, one of the best goals this season so far. Absolutely dominated near the half, just past the halfway line, puts it through his legs, the defenders in no man's land. Then he's dribbling, goes round, bangs it in. Amazing. Then you scored a second. So I don't think anyone had any doubts in their mind that Timo Werner wasn't going to adapt to the Premier League well. He's obviously got quality, he's got talent. Obviously, Southampton not the greatest side in the world, but I reckon he will adjust. He probably one of their signings. I think he'll probably adjust the most. If you look at what Danny Ings has been doing in the league, James Vardy has been doing in the league throughout the last couple of seasons, then you quite clearly can see that Timo Werner is going to adapt well. In the Premier League, they say 2-0 is when you're 2-0 up is the lead. I don't believe so anymore because everyone is banging in goals for fun. I mean, you're 2-0 up in the first half, and then Danny Ings scores just before the break at half time. Puts the ball into the back of the net. 2-1. All right, so now you know what's going to happen. Anytime it's 2-1, you know what's going to happen. The other teams, the team that's down, is always going to look to mount a comeback, always try to possibly steal a game. Kai Havertz scores once again, which Timo Werner assisted. If he's in your fantasy, then good luck to you lot, because Timo Werner's been doing bits. Now, okay, so they're 3-1 up. You'd think this is going to be good. Now, here's my thing about Chelsea, because Chelsea I don't want to say get gas. I think Chelsea have moved away from their identity a lot. You look at Chelsea years past, their team is built on defence. Like, their team is built on defending. I remember they conceded, 15 goals in the league one season. I think they've conceded 20-something the next. They are a top defensive side. You look at it when they won it under Sarri, when they played, I think, was it Sarri? No, Conte, and they played 5 in the back. Real good defensive team. I think they only lost one game after us, I believe it was. So, that was in October, I believe it was. So yeah, they're absolutely great defensive side in previous past. But you look at this season, and the only defender they really bought with his was obviously Thiago was for free and Malang Sarr was for free, was Ben Chilwell. Now he's a left back and he was obviously known for his attacking more than his defending. But there's no one in Chelsea's, none of Chelsea's centre-backs you can rely on for 38 games a season. I mean, and that says a lot, because you're looking at a team that used to have the likes of Gary Cahill, John Terry, Rio Carvalho, and all these players that are defenders first. Look at Zuma. His concentration levels drift from time to time. Now, I think that stops him from being one of the league's best centre-backs, because the goal that he gave, I believe it's Che Adams. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that, really and truly. And I really think that Frank Lampard is under pressure. Frank Lampard's under pressure now, because the reason why I say that is because how many more mistakes will Christensen and Zuma do before you not understand? All right, let me make it Fikayo Tomori and Thiago Silva at the centre backs. You know, because it's not going to be every time. Because what I know is Mason Mount, Christensen they're gonna play. Let's just be honest. Havertz is going to play. Werner's going to play. You pretty much know their whole lineup. They need to really, he really does. We need to look at centre-back problems. I think, let's change it. N'Golo Kante, I think you should be now the deepest player in midfield. I don't think it should be Jorginho anymore. Even though Jorginho's legs are not that great, getting around the pitch, I think Kante still should go back into being that defensive midfielder. Frank, I don't understand how long he's going to get away with it. I say get away with it, but he's not doing anything too bad. But you spend £200 million and you can't show up a defence. You did it at West Brom. You've done it now at Southampton, conceding 3 goals. It's just, honestly, it's just not good enough. I know you came back for the game at West Brom, But a team at Chelsea with the money they spent should never ever be in that situation. And Frank Lampard, you're going to have a real discussion in your hands once Dijk gets back, because Mason Mount, although he started for England and Chelsea, when Dijk, Pulisic get firing, and you know how Havertz is going to play, what's going to happen to Mount? Also, obviously, going forward is not really their biggest issue, but Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think he needs to start getting some game time soon. Look, Mason Mount is obviously the better player at the moment, and I don't want to target him, but if I'm looking for a winger, if I want to play a winger, I'm going to play Callum Hudson-Odoi. No. Going on to for me, the game that I wanted to see all weekend, and it just didn't live up to it, was Man City versus Arsenal. Man City 1-1, Raheem Sterling. So, they had Kevin De Bruyne out, so I thought, yeah, Arsenal might make a go of this. But then I looked at the lineup for Arsenal, and it's pretty much, we played 4 in the back to some people, 5 in the back to others. I think Tierney did play left back, to be honest. And Saka played left centre midfield. Now, here's my thing. Willian, look, you know what, I'm going to make it honest. My honest opinion. I'm not going to start slagging off Willian. Everyone knows my opinions on him. He's not, obviously, I don't want him anywhere near my club. But I look at Willian playing the false nine, and then I look at, what's this guy's name? Aubameyang playing on the left. And you think, Arteta, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. I know Pep used to do this quite a lot, and maybe he picked up some bad traits. Look, Willian is meant to be known for working hard and whatnot, but on the ball, he doesn't really offer anything, in my opinion. But you're looking at it doesn't make no sense, logically, for you to have a winger in the middle and a striker on the left. I mean, it doesn't make no sense. And for me, that would have stifled a lot of Pep's plans. Pep put Kyle Walker and Cancelo at right back and right centre back. Now, if Aubameyang was in the middle, I think Willian would have got at Cancelo a lot more, if that makes sense. Aubameyang's more off the ball player. He's not really going to drill past 1 or 2. But yeah, I think Ceballos played all right. Xhaka played all right. But in my opinion, Saka, a shout out to Tierney. Tierney's a decent player, real good. But what does Maitland-Niles needs to do to get a game? That's really important. And Arteta, going forward, how are you going to get this team to attack? We understand we had a shaky defence for the last X amount of years. You stabilised that. I think you've put an extra man back there. You've brought in some good centre-backs. And Gabriel, we haven't seen much Saliba yet, but you've done that. Now, Arsenal Football Club, in no way, shape or form, in fact, not even Arsenal Football Club, any top team, yeah? But Arsenal Football Club, there's no way that Saka and Gabriel should be your best and most consistent players this season. This is Gabriel's first season, who I think is going to be an enormous player. And then you got Saka, young Saka, who's absolutely, I mean, if you're going to say he's not your cup of tea, fair, but it's just, to me, it's just hating. Saka is the real deal. He gets past players, he's strong, he's agile, he's quick, he can put a ball in, he's versatile. Look, I can't say enough about him. He's not going to bang in goals like Greenwood every week, if that makes sense. But the fact that he's not rated higher than some of these other cats that I've been hearing is ridiculous. Saka is the real deal. Now, as I was saying, for me, this is my lineup going forward, because Arteta, look, I'm not turning on you anytime soon, but you know what I mean. You need to understand that the game is more than just defending. You need to create goals too. Aubameyang has got 1 goal this season. You know what I mean? Pepe, he's not. I believe he's got 1 goal. Pepe's not banging them in. You know, Willian's definitely not banging them in. Lacazette's had a good run of form, but he's in and out of the side. I think the front three should be what it was last year. Pepe, Aubameyang, or what's this geezer's name? Pepe, Aubameyang and Lacazette, or Aubameyang through the middle, Saka on the left, Aubameyang on the Pepe on the right, and then you put Partey, I know people, Xhaka and Ceballos in the middle. I think that is a midfield. That's a team that can create chances, possibly being Ozil back. I think we've seen the last Ozil, but if we could, that'd be amazing. I mean, it was pretty much a boring game, really and truly. Nothing really much. I can't really say much. I just feel like Arteta is overcomplicating some of the things that he's doing at the moment. This should have been. I think we've not won one Premier League away game in 29 games against the Big Six, which is just shocking if you're considering winning the league or contesting for top four. It's ridiculous. And what Arsenal needs to do. Arsenal needs to do all these Southampton, Tottenham, Chelsea needs to do. You need to look at okay. In hindsight, Van Dijk is injured. Liverpool don't look the same quite clearly. Man City don't look the same, even though they beat us. They don't look the same. They're not as dominating as they was. The league is quite wide open. Everyone should really be doing their best to win this league. And for me, it doesn't seem like that way at the moment. Everyone's just coasting, waiting until December before they turn up. But no, they should take advantage now. Spurs doing what Spurs do, bottling the 3-0 lead as soon as Gareth Bale comes on. Before we get into this, that was an absolute banger by Lanzini. Mate, you don't hit it much better than that, and especially the way it's coming, the way the ball was coming, the way the defender was coming. You actually have to hit it with the outside of your boot, kind of outside the boot laces. Not many people can do that. I cannot goals and on Saturdays, but not many people can do that. And he absolutely puts it in the top corner. Now, Lloris could have had a better hand in it, as they said in my group chats, and watching it back, he could have. But Lloris is just Lloris. He just didn't. So that was that. But first, I need to talk about Kane and Son. That duo is one of, if not the best duo in the league at the moment, especially going forward. They are, right now, they are deadly. Kane and Son are deadly. I think, Son's got 7 goals this season. Kane has 5 goals and 7 assists. Well, you can see what Kane is doing because Kane already has more goals, more assists this season than he did in the last 2 seasons combined. That really, and the reason why I think he's been doing that is because Son's more willingness to put the ball in the back, and I think he trusts Son more, if that makes sense. Son, I think, because Kane doesn't have to do the bulk load of scoring now, even though he does have to do a majority of it. Son is chipping in with more goals. That means Kane can drop back in and do his thing in the middle of the park and switching plays, putting through balls in. You see, all right, Kane's picture should be on every academy, no matter who, even Arsenal academy in the country. Because you're looking at someone who's loaned out about 4-5 times, I believe it was. You're looking at someone who was not necessarily athletic. I even saw the picture of him when he was at Arsenal, and you think, oh, blimey, how the hell was he at the club? But he always had passing in his game, in my opinion. Always a very underrated passer. But then Harry Kane is doing the role of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Firmino, what Firmino is meant to be doing in one. This is what he's doing. You're looking at a player who has it all. Obviously, he's not blessed athletically, he's not the fastest or whatever, but he's offset that off with his absolutely great technical ability. He's got it. No, he's the most complete. Well, I'd probably say he's the most complete striker in the world because I don't really see Lewandowski. I'm not saying he can't do it. Obviously, Lewandowski's a much better dribbler and whatnot, but I don't see him playing the passes that Kane does week in, week out. Harry Kane is considering the fact that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is on fire and Danny Ings is one of England's best strikers at the moment, one of the best strikers in the league. The fact that Harry Kane is starting week in, week out really does show a lot about Harry Kane than most people think. I was told that he's tired, I was told that he's past it and whatnot, but he's not. You know what I mean? Harry Kane, he's got it all. But enough about Harry Kane. I'm not going to do too much about him. But Chelsea and Spurs have the same thing. Going forward, and this is rare on, scored a second in Bell. They brought Bergwijn, who hasn't really contributed much outside the Man United goal. Bergwijn, you got Lamela, Lucas Moura, Son, Lo Celso, and Ndombele, all these attacking-minded players, Vinicius, all these attack-minded players who can really do a job. But defensively, they have got nothing, and which is rare because I've never really saw Mourinho ever having this. Spurs defense of what? Aurier, Reguilon, Sanchez, and Alderweireld. Now, Aurier going forward is alright. Defensively, it leaves a lot to be desired for. Reguilon, I'm not going to have this small sample size, but going forward, it looks absolutely amazing. I've not really seen him get at too often, but he's more attacking than defensive. And Alderweireld and Sanchez. Now, Sanchez is meant to be some hard man. He's meant to be able to get around. He's a big unit. He's a big body and whatnot. If he lays tackle into you, you're done for. But, I mean, to let in 3 goals in this manner, you at home to West Ham, it reeks of a bottle job. Herberg, or whatever his name is, didn't do enough for me, and I think he just taps it and it goes straight towards Lanzini for the goal. Defensively, this seems to be much, much better than where they are. And you're looking at their other option at the back. You've got Gazzaniga. Is Gazzaniga still there? I think Gazzaniga's still there. You got Tanganga, he's the other centre back. God knows who the other one is. Because I know Foyth out on loan, and I think Vertonghen's gone. So, I mean, you're looking at this team, and I think defensively, they need to shore up if they really want to, title challenge, come third, fourth, second. They really need to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be more of the same. Tottenham, great going forward. But look, in football, there's no point scoring 4 or 5 goals if you're going to concede 4 or 5 goals. Really and truly, doesn't make no sense. So Tottenham really need to buckle up their ideas defensively. Because this should have been a game that should have been won. 3-0 down to concede 3 goals, especially in the manner they did in 20 minutes. Gareth Bale. One thing, and I told a lot of people this when he came, I said, look, yes, Gareth Bale is a big name. Let's calm down on everything that we say about Gareth Bale. Because we're talking about Gareth Bale 4-5 years ago, who was a top player. I'm not saying he's not decent now. No, maybe not 4-5 years. Maybe go last 3-4 years ago. I'm not saying he's not a decent player now, but Gareth Bale is not what you think he is. He's not going to be bombing past players, putting the ball in the back of the net like he always done. He had that great chance and he just squandered it. Many people are going to ignore it, but he absolutely squandered the chance. And that's something that he should be burying. I know it's his first game back. Well, first game in the Premier League since his whatever. But he should be absolutely burying that. And that's one of the things. You bury that chance, I think even West Ham will just bottle it. But once you see Gareth Bale missing that, you have a go. And Spurs, it's just more of the same, and I absolutely love it. But yeah, let me finish off. We got Aston Villa 4 for 4 this season. Grealish absolutely playing like the best England's best creative player in the Premier League. Obviously behind Kane is doing his thing, but outside Kane, Jack Grealish absolutely doing his thing. I wonder what Southgate is going to say now. Got Barkley's found a new home. I think he's quite enjoying himself playing the number 10 at Aston Villa. Eddie Martinez is doing really, really good. The most clean sheets, only conceded 2 goals this season, and that was to Liverpool in a 7-2 drumming. Look, Aston Villa low-key have a team. Ezri Konza, I believe his name is. Player, absolutely good. I think he's doing. I can't remember the record. I forgot off my head. But ever since he's moved into centre back next to Mings, they look like a decent team. I think they should definitely stay up this season. They should be targeting around like 12th, 13th place in the Premier League, especially after the start they've had. I think John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Ollie Watkins. I think this is a good team. I think Aston Villa, they've got a bit about them. What's that? Yeah, I think Aston Villa got it. I mean, we'll see what their future's like, but man, they look a rejuvenated side. Adam Lookman, one of the players of the week, in my opinion, scored an absolutely cracking goal. Fulham attackingly don't really have much, in my opinion, but he looks like a proper, real good winger. He's banged it with his left foot. He's agile, he's quick. He really gets out his players, which is quite old-fashioned for wingers nowadays. A lot of them like to run in behind or whatever, but he likes to get the ball to feet, run at players.